Just figured I'd start that in advance so we can all have access to it after the fact with all the information that'll be shared. But I guess I'll just jump in here and start with an introduction to Cake as an organization. If you don't already know, we're here located in Maryland, serving Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware mainly. And our goal is to just help farmers, agricultural producers in essentially achieving their business goals. So wherever you might need help in a course or a business service, that's where we come into play. So I'm Madison. I deliver the one-on-one business consulting services. So for example, if you have a need like help with developing a business plan or a marketing strategy or researching grants or loans, trying to figure out what might be best for you, that's where I can come into play. I'll put a link in the chat to register for business services if anyone's interested in having a one-on-one conversation. And then we have our guest speakers here, Chelsea and Isabel. So Chelsea is the course instructor for Cake, as well as doing many other things. But I'll give them each a chance to introduce themselves. Isabel does admin and marketing. Um, they're our experts. Chelsea on the marketing side, Isabel on social media. But if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please feel free to share in the chat or even raise your hand. I'm sure we'll have some time at the end for questions as well. But this is the opportunity to hopefully get some of those questions answered. So I'll pass it over to Chelsea and Isabel to do a quick introduction, and then you can share your screen and we can jump right in whenever you're ready.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Madison. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here and get to talk about marketing for a whole evening with you guys. Marketing is essential for every business. So it's something I've done a lot of in the businesses I've helped to manage in the farmers market world, and as a business directly promoting out into the public. And I'm really excited to just help share some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years in my world. So, and Isa, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Isabel. You may know me from all the reminders and the text messages and all of that. But I also take care of the marketing side here in at Cake. So it's basically I will be talking about the digital aspects with social media and how to successfully integrate social media with your business. Because you need to treat it like a separate thing, but it's a whole different world. So I'll be diving into that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We are going to tag team. I'm going to talk more about like your online searchability and also your visibility out in the world, sort of in-person marketing. And then Isabel's going to cover the digital strategy, and hopefully we'll pull it all together for you. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. First of all, here's how to get in contact with Isabel or I after this course. If you have any follow-up questions, or the chat is usually pretty active, so feel free to put them in the chat. Okay, let's see. I've never done that. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to give a sort of overarching, slide with just the basics of how each channel is going to help reach different audiences and some tips for that. So feel free to refer back to this later, but just to go through really quick, website is going to be it's like foundational, almost like your digital business card. It's how people find you, and we'll learn soon it's how you're searchable online. Yeah, great for education, just letting people know the background about your business, how you grow, why you established your business, what products you sell, just super fundamental. And then email, also a very fundamental tool for sort of smaller businesses. If you have an email mailing list where you can engage people regularly, usually you'll have like a clipboard or something that you collect people's emails, or maybe you can even do it through your POS system when they...
Chelsea, would you mind sharing the slides?
Oh, gosh, yes. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Do you provide the slides later as well?
Yes, absolutely. And I will, let's see, I think it'll let me go back. Yeah. So yeah, this is our contact information. Thank you, Madison. Thank you for not letting me go on too much longer, Lord. Okay, so yeah, we talked about, so yeah, email, really great way to kind of have a loyal customer base, keep them in the loop, what's fresh, what's new, deals and things. Signage, we're going to really dig into signage here in a little while, as that's really, really helpful if you have an agritourism business, if you have a farmer's market, a farm stand, or just are trying to let people know you exist. A sign is really important. And then flyers for local awareness, you know, more, so that's better for things that sort of change consistently. Like if you have different events going on the farm, or different promotions that are going on at different times of year, flyers are really great for that because you don't, you know, they're cheap to change. And then paid ads are also an option, which maybe Isabel, I don't know if we have a slide on paid ads, but if maybe you want to touch on that with in the end, since I know you're really good at those paid ads. But yeah, this is just sort of an overview. We'll dig into all of this in a lot more detail. And then I promise you, I'm definitely not going to read this out, but just wanted you to have a slide that is sort of a good example of what a marketing plan could look like. Just like this would be for like a really small to medium-sized business that's just getting started, doing, you know, some sort of farm or value-added product retail or agritourism. So yeah, we think this is probably manageable. We do know a lot of farms that are doing a plan like this. It could mean you need to kind of get some help. Maybe you can hire an intern locally, like somebody even in your family, somebody who wants to get a little bit of business experience and can kind of help you. Yeah, younger people, as we know, are pretty good at social media, so it's good to win-win situation, hopefully there. So yeah, we won't get into this too much, but yeah, it's really important to learn about, to understand what your target market is, like who's your ideal customer, because not everybody's going to want to support you as much as some people might want to support you. So it's better to go for the low-hanging fruit. So figuring out who that is, and then figuring out what your marketing goals are. You know, what do you want to accomplish? What would look like success to you? So setting some goalposts, and then figuring out what your marketing channel and tactics are going to be. And that could be at a farm's market presence, or that could be your roadside stand, social media, which we all know, and we'll get into a lot of detail, email marketing, just touched on that, word of mouth, working with different community organizations, chefs, schools, anybody that, you know, some people are sort of great networkers in the community, kind of tapping into your community, who are those networkers, and you know, getting their buy-in to your business so that they can help you spread the word. And then I know Isabel's going to get more into well, we'll get into branding and messaging a little bit, but yeah, very important to have sort of a brand, a message that's cohesive. People kind of like can very quickly in an elevator pitch understand what your brand is and what you're trying to sell them, how much it costs, a budget, of course, and then metrics that you're going to track to meet so that you know you're meeting your goals. But yeah, this is just an idea. You can tweak this however fits your needs, but just wanted to give you an example of what that could look like. So yeah, developing your brand, this is what we do a lot if you're taking the either the startup producers, mostly in the startup producers course, but we also cover this in the value added producers course. But it's really important to understand your why and make your why very front and center to your business, making sure that your values are clear, that your mission is clear, and that sort of aligns with how you do business, you know, whether that be your packaging or, you know, anything like that. Like if you're having an event, maybe not having like tons of plastic, if it's like an eco group, you know, that's really into hiking, or, you know, those sorts of things. If that's not your yeah, just making sure your brand is consistent with what you're selling. And then it's really important to communicate to the customer why your product is better. So, what is it that gives you an edge? Is it fresher? Is it your grandmother's recipe? Is it cheaper? Is it, just fresher, more fast delivery? You've got to do something sort of to, beat out the competition. So communicating that up front with your brand as part of your brand is really important. So like if you're purchasing local, like that's a really big one, of course. Buy fresh, buy local, right? Um, yeah, and then just important to have messaging that you can kind of reiterate over and over. And then you put with all that, you develop a logo, a tagline, and sort of, maybe a brand with your label. Maybe you have like a rustic sort of brand. But all these things together just help you to sort of quickly communicate what your farm is, what it's about, who you are, get the word out there. Like people will, they'll use like stickers, and a sticker only works because the brand has been developed, because all these things are connected to that sticker. And then you get that, out there into the world to sort of like reinforce your brand, bring people back to you. So yeah, we'll dig into that more. Okay, but before we get into all that, sort of first place that I think we all need to know is online searchability. These days, basically, if you don't show up on the internet, you almost don't exist. Like, even if somebody saw your product somewhere at an event or something, and then they went back and tried to search you, if they can't find you, honestly, it could kind of end there for your relationship with that customer. So it's really important that you're easily searchable, that you have a name that is going to be not compete with other like similar names locally. Like we had somebody recently that let me know she realized there was another farm close by to her that had the same name, and so that's not smart to go with that name. If you figure that out, it's not good to go with that name, because that other farm already has, even if they do something completely different than you, say you're trying to do agritourism, you're probably going to have people showing up at that other farm confused. And you're going to be competing with them in your search engine results. Like ideally, when you type in your farm name, you're the number one, like at least with your area, hopefully you're the number one search result that comes up. That's a huge advantage to have that. And so, yeah, it's just important. If you haven't established your business yet, it's important to make sure that it's going to be something that's easy to search, kind of unique. Um, and yeah, like it can't be too generic, or there could be other businesses that um, pop up when you search for your business. So and then in order to make sure that your search engine results are coming up to the top, you have to have 3 different places where your information is the same. Um, and so the Google machine, whatever the algorithm, it basically pulls data from 3 different sources, and all those 3 sources have to match in order for Google to be willing to spit that information out. So at the most basic level, that means you need to have 3 different places on the internet where the information on like about your hours, your farm location, your phone number, um, your sorry, it's down here at the bottom of this slide. Your hours, I think I said that. Sorry, hours, phone number, address, about the farm business, and a list of products sold. So that could look like you have an About Us page that describes your farming practices, what products you sell, and then on your Google business page, you also have, obviously all your information listed. And then you should also be listing, if you do agritourism, like what agritourism activities do you do? Like that also needs to be listed in a few places. And then you'll become more searchable when people, like if they're searching like fall festival or something like that, you'll come higher up in the results if you have 3 different places on the internet that say fall festival. So at the most basic level, it's just like your farm information, but You can also, you want to be able to come up in searches like when people search fall festival in my area, you want to be the one to come to the top, not just when they search your farm name, you know? So it's important to have those keywords in your website somewhere. And then, so you can pick what those keywords are. Like they should be, it should be really basic. Like if you, you know, like for Phil, it's like alpaca tours, or something like that, or, you know, event rentals, things like really like just making sure those snippets are somewhere in your business blurb. You could even use the same business blurb on all three platforms. I mean, even better. And then if you ever change it, you just change all three. Although I'm sure there are situations where like they should be longer or shorter because of the platform or something. But generally, if it's like a short 2 or 3 sentence blurb about what you do, I think most platforms are okay with that. Okay, so yeah, in terms of the 3 places online that are important, social media is going to be one. So that means ideally at least one page. So either like a Facebook or an Instagram page, I'd say are the like at least one or the other of those. You can always have Facebook and push pictures to Instagram or vice versa. If you really like don't want to like, so literally every time you post to one, it just pushes to the other. You don't have to go and make 2 different posts. So that's kind of like a 2 for 1, because there are like it tends to be like an older demographic on Facebook and maybe a younger demographic, middle-aged younger demographic on Instagram. So you can just sort of hit both demographics with, you know, one click. That's a pretty good deal. I mentioned the website. The website's super important anyways, just because that's like your business card. And really, if people go to your website and it doesn't look professional and polished, even if you're professional and polished, people will potentially be scared off from that. I hate to say, but yeah, it's really important to keep your website updated and, you know, invest a little bit of extra time and like maybe initially invest in having somebody help you design it or like get it to looking the way you like it, and then they can show you how to maintain it, you know, like do it on a easy to use platform, which we'll talk about some of those I think at some point. But yeah, you can kind of get it set, have it set up professionally, and then you just maintain it, you know, with little edits, and maybe that's easier for you than like setting it all up from scratch. So and it's not terribly expensive these days to set up a website, even with help, because it is pretty easy with the sort of plug and play tools. So yeah, that would be the second place. And then the third place is your Google business page. And you might think like, oh, I come up on Google. Yeah. So the thing is, if you could have a Google business page, if you're already running a business and you didn't make a Google business page, that means it's possible that your customers actually created a Google business page for you, that's like out there and collecting reviews, and you know maybe nobody's even responding to it, but it exists and it's accurate. And so it's like basically if you haven't already logged into Google business page and like claimed your page and become the owner of the page, and now you get like alerts when people leave you reviews and that kind of thing, if you haven't done that yet, definitely go do that. And if you don't have one at all, like if you're a brand new business, obviously you're not going to have one at all, but you can start by just creating a Google business page. It's part of Google Suite. If you don't, if you're not familiar, basically it's just part of Gmail. Like you go to just google.com, click the little, the little triangle, and it gives you all the different applications it has. And yeah, or you could just literally Google business. That's funny. Google business page. That way it'll just take you to the correct page, because Google Suite has a bunch of different, you know, pages and things. Like it actually can get lost, even though it sounds funny when I say that. You can get lost in Google Suite if you're not familiar with it. So just Google that and go to your page. It allows you to add pictures of your products, which is super helpful. Like if you have professionally done pictures, you can put those on your Google business page instead of, you know, people just coming and snapping like pictures that don't look very good and putting that up. You can actually have like professional looking pictures on your Google business page. Obviously you want your description to look professional and everything. And you want to get alerted when people leave you comments, because First of all, they might alert you to a problem that's going on, like, oh, I got spoiled product. Oh, you might want to address that really quickly and reach out to that customer and, you know, fix the problem. Or they had a really bad experience at an event. Like, that's good to know right away so that you can address it. And people do read those comments. Like, I don't know if it's just like, it's definitely my generation and younger. We are a little neurotic maybe about the comments. Um, but like, really anywhere I haven't been before, I will read the comments. And I really like to see how the business owners respond sometimes, just because I think that's telling, you know, how you respond to a problem. Um, so yeah, just make sure to be very professional and of course like take customers concerns seriously, and even if they are like outlandish or something, you still have to be professional. You don't have to give them what they want, but you have to say thank you for your feedback and not, you know, argue with them on Google. Resist the urge. I know it can be hard. And then make sure to ask for your loyal customers to give you reviews. That's something that it's super easy to forget. If you have customers that are regular customers, ask them to give you a review. Tell them it helps you. Tell them, you know, get your page all set up and stuff, and then ask them to go give you a review because it really does help. And they are really happy to do it. I mean, they literally come and shop with you a lot. Like if you're a small business, they're probably coming to shop with you because they want to support your small business. They're going out of the way and maybe spending more money to support you. So yeah, ask them. You can put a QR code up on your tent. Um, Earl gave me that idea. I think you're here, Earl. I think I saw you come in. So that's a great idea. You put a QR code on the tent. People just scan it with their phone. It takes them right to the Google review page or to your social media, your newsletter sign up, whatever you're really trying to push, whatever outlets you're trying to push. So, Madison, can I get a quick time check? What time am I supposed to stop talking? Was it?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let me double check. Um,
keeping pace.
yeah, I think about like we said maybe around 6:15, if
Okay,
that works
perfect.
for you.
No, we're right on track then. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any oh, and another one that you should make sure, I mentioned it briefly, but you can add your menu onto Google Business page, which is really, really helpful. Like you can actually add a digital menu if you want to go to all, that's kind of a lot of work maybe. But you can also just post a PDF of your menu, and that's really helpful to people. So even farms can do that. Like it could be like your cuts of meat or something.
Could you
Okay.
repeat that again? You said you could do what? Add a digital menu?
Yeah, like you could add like a PDF of your offerings, whatever they are. Like if you have a sort of spec sheet, usually you'll have like you know, a picture of your product, a little description, how much it costs, um how much they're getting. It depends on the product. Do you have a specific product you want me to try that with, or
Uh, I'm not at the moment.
nope?
You could just give an example if of anything if you don't mind.
Sure. Like if you were selling meat or something like that, you could have all your cuts on a menu, like how much each cut is per pound or something like that. But it's very common with restaurants or, you know, like if you have a little farm stand restaurant, cooking at market, something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd probably be harder for like the produce folks because your offerings are changing all the time. It's easier if you have a pretty set menu, like offering schedule. Okay. Any questions about that? If we end up having time at the end, I feel like we should show Google Business Page just in case. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Google Business Page? Is everybody familiar with that?
I have a quick question, Chelsea.
Sure.
I was wondering, is there AI that can help manage our social media sites for us? Like, is there AI that actually helps with a response, like an automated thing like that?
I believe there are, and if there aren't, there will be so many soon. Like, I think that's already happening, but I saw Isabel has an answer. I was actually thinking I need to research this for, I was like, man, AI is getting us everywhere. I gotta research that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you have bots that you can set up for your social medias. I can give you like a specific names. I know there are people that um specialize in this, in setting all your bots. So basically you will add a bot to your DMs, for example, on Instagram, and they get anyone that replies with a specific word or just like an introduction. You can set up a few messages. Um, a few of them could be like generic, and others could be like more specific if they send like a specific word, like a product that you have, and you can just send them like do you want any information on this product? And the bot will actually take care of that. So there's no like delay on communication with your customers.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I need to research this more, so maybe in a follow-up session we could talk about this more, but I know that they're starting to have AI where like you can just submit, like you basically upload a bunch of content, like a long video segment, and it's able to like automatically create micro clips based on like a concept. Like I know that that's possible. I don't know exactly which ones are doing it yet. I also know that there's like AI for creating logos now. Like you kind of give a concept and maybe even upload like some hand drawn art, or um and AI will like draw it for you, which I mean, it just depends how. Yes, Chat GPT can definitely create logos. It just depends how much you care about your logo, frankly. And like if you're never planning to be a national business, and like it's not really about the logo as much as like the community, and just sort of like you're more like a localized type of business. um as long as you're, I mean, you could definitely go with an AI generated logo, but I know some graphic designers would cringe at that. But I think for the small business purpose, that and the cost, which is nothing, and the effectiveness, that it is a good option. But Issa, do you have any other thoughts on those? AI.
Um, I mean, you as a graphic designer, you can feel guilty using AI, but I will say that as a startup, as beginners from that point of view, I'll definitely use it. Like, you can later on refine it
Yeah.
with professionals, but I will say because I've seen good ones and I've seen really bad ones that you can just tell. So prompts, keep an eye out for good prompts to generate logos. The simpler, the better. And pick like your element. I know we talked about branding, so pick your element. And when requesting like the design, just add like a white background. So that way you can just, with Canva, you can just remove the background, and then it's a little more user friendly. But yeah, the simpler the better.
Yeah, but I would definitely, I mean, we should spend some time, Isabel, when we have time, doing research on just that. Maybe we could do a webinar on just that
Just
subject.
ChatGPT.
Well, or just like all the AI, like social media tools. That I feel like
Yes.
that'd be really interesting. But yeah, somebody mentioned Hootsuite. That one's been around for a long time. It's not AI, but it allows you to schedule across multiple platforms. It definitely reduces how many clicks. But I would say as a small business, you do not need, like, you can schedule content just regularly on Facebook, can't you, Isabel? You don't need Hootsuite to schedule. And so, I mean, it's if you have like 6 different accounts, though. If you have like Twitter and like, all these different places that you're updating, then maybe Hootsuite. Um, I mean, it is a nice tool. Like, it's nice to visualize your sort of marketing plan board content for the week. Um, but yeah. Oh, Copilot. I've never tried that one. Thanks,
I've
Kim.
used it. It's good. And you know that ChatGPT regulates a lot. So after like 3 or 4 um images that the chat created, you get like regulated and you have to wait until this next day or something like that. With Copilot is more friendly. It lets you create more images
Ah,
as a
noted.
free user.
Hmm. Okay, cool. All right, let me see. Okay, so yeah, just wanted to, now we're leaving the world of the internet and walking into real life here. um and we'll go back to the world of the internet shortly with Isabel. So just taking a little break here. So yeah, some really good in-person signage options. If you're selling, I mean, really farm store, farm stand, farmers market, events, agritourism, all of these are really helpful for you. A-frames you're probably familiar with. I'll talk about a few different types of A-frames. There's chalkboard A-frames, which they run like $75 to $100. Obviously, it's nice because you can edit the chalk, but it smudges really easily. You can't kind of write as detailed or make it as pretty. So if you're like moving your chalkboards around and stuff a lot, it's probably going to get smudged, but it's more customizable. You can also make those chalkboards if you want to get really thrifty, if you know how to woodwork, and you can just put some hinges and you take some chalkboard paint and literally paint some wood. There's all different ways you can do it if you're crafty. And then there's also the A-frames that you like, they're like the plastic Signage A-frames. Those run, if you've ever seen those, they're like the heavy duty ones out in front of the stores. Those run like $300, y'all. So whole new respect for those Signades, right? They're heavy duty. You can replace the front. It's like a plastic, rainproof sign. You submit the art to a local printer. They print it for you, and then you replace the sign. It's got little like slot things that you replace it. So the good part about it is obviously it doesn't smudge. If your menu never changes, it's good for that. It's it's going to do a better job probably portraying your branding and logo and things like that than like you could draw, unless you've got somebody pretty talented. So there's a lot of benefits to it. The waterproof is really huge if you're selling outside or it's just taking a lot of weather and that kind of thing. But they're expensive. That's the downside, is that they're expensive. They do tend to last a long time. Like I've had some, like when I was running farmers markets, we had some that lasted like 10 years and we were not nice to them. It was like, breaking down and setting up all the time. So yeah, those are good, but they are an investment. Every time you have to reprint it, it costs at least, and this is years ago, so inflation, they're probably at least $50 per side. So it's like $100 every time you go to replace the sign. We actually started at one point when we were being cheap. We would just like spray chalk over the old signs and then make a chalkboard sign with the Signade, and then like use chalkboard markers. This is like real low budget stuff, you guys. Um, this is, farmy. Yes. Oh, good. Amazon's reasonable for printing banners, car magnets, and signage. Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say these are the local places, which honestly, some of them were super expensive. As much as you want to support the local places, but yeah. So and then so chalkboards we talked about already, and like making chalkboards, you can either get the spray or you can actually get like a paintbrush paint to make those chalkboard signs. Pretty nifty if you need to make like a big display somewhere or you just don't want to spend a bunch of money, because it does add up. And then banners. Kim mentioned banners. I really like these, especially if you're a farmer's market vendor. Having a banner at the back of your booth, you put it up with, the bungee cords that says your farm name, your logo, where your farm is from, like maybe your website. It's very simple, clean. It should just sort of present your vibe, maybe your mission, like a one line mission. Um, but those are really, really helpful and important pretty much anywhere you go. And then, especially if you're in a farmer's market setting or you're going to festivals, events, a branded tent can really help you. Branded tents are not cheap, y'all, unfortunately. Um, you can, again, if you want to get thrifty with it, you can buy a, just regular tent, which is not that expensive. Those are like $300, maybe 500 for like a really good one. Recommend easy up tents. But anyways, you could like get stencils and paint, farm fresh eggs, chicken, pork, jams, whatever. You could paint that with some spray paint on your tent. I would go over it with the clear coat. You can ask how many times I've done these things. But yeah, obviously it's a little bit high risk. Like if you make a mistake or something, you have to buy a whole new canopy. But the canopies are so expensive. They're like $300 or $400 for the custom canopy alone. So it can be a good option if you are able to sort of, if you're okay with that as part of your brand, kind of being a little more homegrown, if you will. And then when it comes to actual materials for your tent, rack cards are always a good option. Those are just like the tall cards. You have to buy like the little rack thing, like the little plastic thing. It just allows them to sit up on the table, which is more eye-catching than laying it down on the table. I like them for sort of like an all-in-one place for your hours, your website, your social handles. And I like, because they're so tall, I like them for product lists, like a bullets of what products you carry, or it might be a seasonal list if you are a seasonal vendor. But yeah, I just think it's, you need to pick at least one item to have on your table that has most of your business's information, whether that's hours, website, social, product list. You need to have one version of that. So another option is a postcard. And again, you can get like a little giant business card looking thing that helps your postcard sit up, or they can just sit on the table. Flyers are really good. I'd say rack cards and postcards are more expensive. You tend to have to buy them in a batch of like 300, 500. So you probably, and it's not that expensive. It's like $30 sometimes for 300, 500, or at least it used to be. But yeah, whereas like flyers are usually better for like things that are changing a lot, like maybe you're having seasonal events at your farm or something like that. You can just print a flyer and buy one of those plastic display things, which by the way, don't put them up if it's windy, because they're like $12 each and they break super easily and the wind will blow them over. Put a rock on them or something. But yeah, like it's really good to have like for the seasonal events, or maybe you have seasonal products that change, like whatever your, strawberry lemonade this week or whatever is new, should be kind of like featured in its own little flyer, I'd say. And then brochures are really good for like if you want to talk, like I like it for explaining about your farming practices, for example, something that's going to be longer and more in depth that you're not going to be able to fit on like a little postcard or like a rack card. Yeah, it's just a little bit more digestible on a brochure, instead of like getting a page long of text. So it could be like about your CSA, how you farm, like about your mission and vision. So like depending on what the customer's interested in, you can give them sort of different materials. But I'd say everything should always have your website on it and your social handles at the very least, because then they can always go back and get the information, no matter what material they get from you. And then last thing to talk about real quick is we talked a little bit about stickers and why they can be really effective. You can sort of become like a local cultural hero, if you will, by establishing your brand and having like a cool, like fun sticker or something. Shirts and bags. It's great if you have a brand like that people want to wear, and because it's just passive marketing for your business, and it's sort of like word of mouth. It has more authenticity to it. People think, I mean, most people don't go around wearing people's brands like that. So if they're wearing your brand, it's kind of saying something about your brand and your farm, that they liked you enough to, purchase from you and support you like pointedly. So yeah, I think those are really great. And bags, tote bags are a really great option. If you just did one swag item, getting like the little canvas tote bags that with your farm's logo and like something, make it cute though. Don't just be your farm's logo. Not that your farm's logo is not cute, but like make it like a cute veggie thing, or like a veggie pun or something. I don't know. But people do love that sort of thing at the farmer's market or farm stores, anywhere farmy. And often you forget your bag and you end up buying one. So yeah, those are my recommendations. We've got some fun examples here. These are our bags that we designed for the Producers Unveiled event. So these are what we gave away to all of our attendees, and what we take to go to, if we go to conferences or different events and network, this is, what we share so that people kind of remember us and our brand. And then we've got a good example of in-person signage here. This is just a dry erase board with the flavors. So yeah, you don't have to be fancy necessarily, especially if your flavors are changing regularly. Something like this is just fine. So okay. And Gail, so cute. All right. Okay. And then some other marketing materials that I just thought would be worth mentioning. So, I mean, especially like really, as long as you have a sign, guys, it is really important though to put up your prices, especially these days. People are sensitive to price and they are having to make hard financial decisions. And if they have to have a kind of uncomfortable conversation where they have to ask you directly about the price and then make the decision not to buy it because it's too expensive, like some people will just not even ask to avoid that whole situation. So yeah, really important to put your pricing out. Even if it's handwritten, you can, at least in Virginia Department of Agriculture, they'll send you little postcards that you can use, and they like have the cute Virginia grown thing. I bet Maryland has the same thing, and you can like write in the prices, and those are free, or you get like a certain amount for free. This is an example here with the mushrooms. You can see, you can really make some professional looking waterproof signs with a laminator and a home printer. Like you can do a lot with that, really. Just like Canva, laminated signs, and a home printer. A laminator is like $40, and the sheets are like $20. You can do hundreds of them for that price. I do prefer the thicker sheets for what it's worth, because then they don't like bend and stuff and get ruined as easily, especially if you go to markets or something. Things are roughly treated, so it's smart. You can see how they had theirs designed here. Very easy to just put them back on the table each week when they go to market. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the laminator. It like the most bang for your buck on the laminator, really. And then yeah, we talked about, you could also have an A-frame list. Like it's a little hard to read this one here on the table, but you get the idea. You can have like a little A-frame, either a mini one like that on your table, like an actual frame like this one, which is very cute, or you can have like a full-blown, oh, Isa, you did that in real time. You're so fun. Yeah. Yeah, so you can have like a big A-frame. It just depends like how big your product offering is. Yeah, and then we mentioned the chalkboard lists. You can do that as well. Especially if your menu is designed to sell out every day. Like maybe you're a bakery and you sell out of stuff as you go, and you want to cross it off the board, especially if people can't visually see your product. Like if you're selling pies or something and they're in coolers and people can't see how many are left, like it would be helpful to be able to mark off on a board what's still available for customers. Just something to think about if you're that kind of business where you're selling out every day, versus like if you pretty much want to always have plenty, like never sell out because you have plenty of back stock and you don't want to miss sales. That's sort of a different situation. That's more for products that don't go bad every week. just to be specific. And then something I've seen a trend of a lot more is I talked about the menu for the Google Business page. It's also really helpful to have a menu at your stall potentially. Like I recently noticed meat vendors have been doing this, and I think it's a really good idea because sometimes you have a long line of people, you know, and they can't see your board until they get right up to you, and then they have to make a really quick decision like, oh, what do I want? I don't know, you know. So if you give them the menu while they're standing in line, when they get to the register they're ready. So that assumes like you don't want to like try to slow things down or something, like if you're cooking and you're just it's just too the orders are too fast or something. But like if you want to speed up your ordering process um and have people come ready to order, that could be a really good approach. Or if you just have a lot of products, that could be a good approach. So, like I said, I've seen meat vendors do it especially. And that's just like, you know, a one pager, laminate it, bam, done. Other promotion I wanted to talk about is roadside. Oh, and also, can we just observe how cute this branding is up here? This Brown Crown Creamery. So they've got this little like table banner at the front, which this is extra cute. They've got their banner at the back. They've got these little sunflowers, which are very eye-catching and farmy. They've got the little display sheets I mentioned, the plastic 8x11s. Um, and then your product should definitely be displayed out in the front. Even if they, you know, you maybe don't want them to grab it themselves, like it should be displayed so that they can see your product. So this is a really good example of a nice booth. Okay, so getting to the roadside promotion. And I'll try to talk about let's see. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to stop. Okay, so I won't talk very long. But yeah, here's different options. Banners are nice because they're on the cheaper side. Like it might cost you $40. You just stick 2 stakes in the ground. You just have to give somebody, like, usually you have to, a private property owner will have to give you permission to put that banner up. So if it's on your property, obviously you can put it up, or if it's on somebody else who's given you permission. You generally can't get away with banners anywhere that isn't your property. You can somewhat get away with yard signs. You know, different ordinances have different rules about yard signs. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't follow the laws on yard signs. You definitely should. But I will say you can, you know, ask for forgiveness and not permission sometimes. And you know, just don't be obscene with your yard signs. But and usually people won't bother you. But some places do have like you have to get permits and that kind of thing, which is kind of annoying. Or they just don't allow them if they're in a certain area. Or yeah, so might be worth checking into. But generally they're not too harsh on the punishment, at least. And then A-frames. If you're putting it out on the road, it's probably going to need to be that plastic sign cade, not like a chalkboard. You can also make a lot of homemade signs, like I've mentioned. I've seen a lot of really cool, like woodworked signs. People will hang up, you know, what products they have on, like they'll have like chicken on a little wood carved board, and then pork, and they'll kind of hang them up on their booth so that you can see. So there's a lot of different creative ways you can do it if you're a bit nifty. Last one I wanted to mention is feather banners, which you can buy. Like if you have a barbecue truck, you can buy like a big barbecue banner. It's like the feather one that stands up tall. Again, you have to have permission to place it, but those are really effective too. So, and great for like, you know, farm fresh produce. They have a lot of like farmers market with like the farm vegetables, you know, those types of things are really helpful. And then, of course, permanent signage, but that's really expensive, and it does take a lot of paperwork, and it's like a couple $1,000s. So, oh goodness. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into this. I'm sorry, guys. We've never done this presentation before, and we got a little too overzealous with the content. But I did want to just briefly say events are a really, really helpful way to bring, like, not just to, like, make money off the event, but to spread the word about your business. When people are looking for things seasonally, that's a good opportunity to draw in people that you would not catch otherwise. So yeah, here's a list of some events and kind of what seasons are popular for agritourism for these different trends. And yeah, just a great way to engage the public. More you can do kids activities, pick your own produce, animal encounters. And yeah, we'll have to do another Q&A, guys, apparently. But if anybody wants to talk about these in the questions section, we can. But these are things I have done at farmers markets or at agritourism events, and they work really well. Super low cost, easy. And yeah, handing it over to you. Sorry, Isabel, for stealing some of your time. Forgive me.
It's okay. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through how to use social media effectively to grow your business. So these are like the first steps to take. So yeah, the first thing we will be talking about is how to create eye-catching posts or content that will grow your audience. So we have four basic um, factors to consider. The first one being photography and videos. So, and I cannot stress this enough, use your own content. Don't use like stock pictures or Google has a lot of regulations with copyright. So if you happen to use a picture that you just saw on Google, it might be linked to someone else's copyright. So don't be doing that. So yeah, use your own pictures. You're in the most beautiful industry with all the landscapes and agricultural visuals. So take advantage of that and embrace it. This is such a organic way to grow your audience with very breathtaking visuals, basically. It doesn't have to be like don't overthink it. It's what I'm saying. Like just get your phone, take some pictures of your beautiful products, and sunlight is amazing and will do wonders in your pictures. So you can always like search a few tips on how to take product pictures, but yeah, use Pinterest for inspo. That's always amazing. um and yeah, and you can always hire like a professional videographer or a photographer and asks them to give you like I don't know, like 1,000 images, and those will last a lot, and you can stress them and take advantage of that content. But yeah, use your high quality pictures, portrait mode. That's amazing. Um, so then we get to the text and the handle. So that's basically the written messages, the actual content. So just think of key messages that you want to communicate. Obviously, all of this depends on your audience and how you choose to speak to them and to approach them. But just a basic example, like um, a picture with your season products and just say now in season or yeah, but basic examples like that with a very catchy image will take you a long way. Always again with AI, you can give it a specific instructions in order to create content. Um, just try to humanize it because sometimes you can tell if with a specific words or things like that. But you can get ideas from AI as well. Take it like a inspiration sort of thing. And then regarding branding, so yeah, the basics includes your logo in your posts, not in all of them because that will be repetitive, but in the important ones like your menu, if you're doing a post regarding seasonal products, all of that should include your branding style in your logo or your slogan, let's say. And the fourth step is the design. So with social media, what we're seeing nowadays is less design and more photography. People are looking to see more realness, let's say. So you can always get away with Canva It's a very easy tool to create text and add text and cut videos and all of that. But keep in mind that what's more important right now is the actual content rather than the graphic design aspect. So there's an example, just if you're growing sunflowers, you can say the bees are loving this. You can always add like depending on your brand language, you can always add like a funny thing or a catchy phrase or something like that. And always include a call to action. So a call to action, what it is that after you promote something, you can actually drive them to do something. So if you are promoting the sunflowers that you sell, the call to action will be something like come visit us, or I hear like a microphone, but yeah, just something like come visit us. We are taking them to market and all of that. But yeah, a call to action is always important. So it gives the content that you're creating a purpose. Okay, the next aspect will be the best practices. So here you can see like a percentage of what's the key factor in order to grow your audience. So the first one, it's authenticity. So we've been saying, basically share your story. It's all about what you have to say to your audience and to your community. So share your story. Canva has, yeah. I'll be reading the comments later, but yeah, just tell your story. People want to hear about you and your business. Um, and be your authentic self. And I always say that it's like a little cliche that people say, "Oh yeah, just be yourself." But yeah, that's it. That's literally it. People are looking for uniqueness in a world where everything is um, copy paste. So yeah, just pick your niche. Really build a strong foundation for your branding, and in that foundation, always include your point of view of things. Then is consistency. So that's where the tools and all of the scheduling comes in. So and the actual strategy. So let's say you are creating, the key to this is being organized. So you can always do organic posting, like, yeah, I think I took this picture and it's cute, but and I will post it, and then my social media doesn't hear from me in 1 week or two. So that's a lack of consistency in your content, and the algorithm takes that and just say it just takes it as lack of responsibility in your content. It's picky, I know, but yeah, that's how it works. So build like a doable for you, a plan that works for you. And you can always schedule with tools that we will um talk about later on. But yeah, consistency is key with your, not only with how often you post, but with what you post. So if your content is all about friendly and very familiar, and if you're family owned and that's sort of your thing, then you won't be posting much about, I don't know, educational things. Let's say it's like you have to pick the kind of content that you will be posting. Okay, and then engagement. So that's where the actual marketing comes in. You start to think about ways to engage people, engage the customer. Maybe you do promotions, maybe you promote events, maybe you do like a free, um, maybe try a product of your farm, so things like that. But yeah, there's the quote. Like your followers don't just want to shop, they actually want to connect and hear from you. Okay, I will take a look to the chat. So, what is the minimum you should post to be consistent? So, videos are very important right now. The attention span of users has decreased a lot in the recent years. So, very short videos, but with a valuable message will do the trick. And yeah, you can do a mix of content. For example, the most basic plan that I've seen is 12 posts per month, and in those posts you can include reels, videos, and always try to have at least one or two stories live every single day. Even if it's just like your contact information, what you're offering, or a message to your community. Stories are the informal way of communicating nowadays. It's like the fastest thing. People are always looking through Instagram stories. And for example, if it's a promotion, the first thing you will do is do a post and then post stories immediately. Um, so yeah, all of that works. Yeah, we covered the type of, you mentioned short videos, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Some people might say that 1 minute it's too long, but it always depends on what you have to say. So, and with videos specifically, always think about the hook. What's the hook? Basically, you got 1 or 2 seconds or less than a second to catch the viewer. A hook could be you saying something a little risky, like I don't know, think outside of the box, like um you won't find what I'm sharing, something like that, like very out of the box. You don't have to give the whole context in just one sitting, but something that will grab the attention of the viewer. Um, you can do like you can ask AI to give you like 10 hooks that work for your business, and the less the better. Some people even do like physical hooks, just them started the video by standing up and then sitting down, them drinking from a cup. Um, I see a lot of yeah, practice editing lessons, but yeah, exactly. So the organic factor is always valuable because people in this type of niche, they want to connect and they want to relate to you. So yeah, I will change the slide now. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. Okay, so the hashtags. Hashtags nowadays are more used to um, basically the customer will locate you. Now with algorithms, they've streamlined this process, and when you all even I know you guys have noticed that when you talk about something a lot, then you might see one or two ads related to what you've been discussing, because the algorithms are actually um, taking advantage of that information. And if you search like I don't know, if you search for homemade bread, then a few ads might appear regarding homemade bread and all of that. So, but with hashtags, they are more used to your own content and how you can locate and segmentate your audience. So think about local. You will target your demographic, let's say. Um, and local always means like the nearby customers. The niche, again, this is again regarding the branding. Keep in mind your niche and how that hashtag relates to the actual post. And branded is just think about it less like a slogan, like um your own thing. Like people when they search by that hashtag, they will automatically get like all your content basically. Okay. Yeah, again, telling your farm story in your content is the most valuable and productive thing you can do. We've discussed the why of your business. So sharing your why you started, what you grow, who you serve, all of that is very important and will help you connect with the correct audience for you and get to the right people that will actually end up purchasing from you. Um, and yeah, also regarding the sharing your why and your story. People love to see faces. As you can see, I added like a lot of pictures from our events and all of that because people love to see your own faces. So don't be ashamed of sharing your face on social media or your team members, your staff. Show the struggles, show the wins, um, the behind the scenes content. Everything that's behind the curtain, we want to see. Okay. And now we dive into the platforms. No, it's yeah. So there are so many platforms right now, but you can pick like the main three. I will count Instagram and Facebook as one because they can be easily synced since they are both in um, the Meta business page. So you can merge them and actually synced all the content there. Just keep an eye out from Facebook because there the communication is different. Um, More because of the demographic, but also because on Facebook you can create groups and you can actually create a group for your own farm and your business and provide like more um yeah like more Patreon thing, like more premium content, let's say, personal to your business. So yeah, as you can see, Instagram is more for photos and reels and stories and events, more for promotion and like a catalog of your business. Then TikTok is like the funny side of things. You can get um, either to very young audiences and very old. So it's not like in between. I know it's the latest social media platform, so it has more yeah younger users, but and it's more informal. So people always get in there and share the stories and even share gossip, which is very interesting to hear. But it all depends on how you would like to pursue your customers. If it's going to be a more like personal thing, or you're going to choose more like the valuable side of things. There are a few type of content that we can discuss. Yeah, people love the day in the life of. So day in the life of a farmer. Um, Come with me to a farmer's market or how I prepare for a farmer's market, things like that. People want to see that mainly because they want to prepare for if ever they are doing so that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, that's very catchy just to see someone in their day-to-day life. And then there's like Pinterest and Facebook. Facebook is more for community. Also, you can promote events there, and lives all great on Facebook as well. Pinterest is the most aesthetic side, so think about very um, magazine type of pictures and DIYs and tips and all of that. And LinkedIn is the main business platform. So as a business owner, you can connect to other business owners and sort of do more networking on there. Okay, and then we come to the tools. I didn't add ChatGPT here, but yeah, just take advantage of that whenever you can. Um, but yeah, tools like Meta Business. So Meta Business is very effective because it's linked to Facebook and Instagram. So you get the two big fish in just one platform, and you can manage everything there. If you can get in contact with Meta business experts or with an assistant from Meta, they can walk you through all the improvements and all basically like a one-on-one tutorial on how to take advantage of that platform. Um, but yeah, you can track what's working, you can easily schedule your posts, see what's performing, what's not performing, and if you consider you will get the access to ads and paid promotion to your content. Buffer does all of that, but without the ads and the automatic responses, basically. So it's like the a little more standard version of Meta. Yeah, keep in mind that ChatGPT, you only get so many answers in the free version. Um, People always use like one or two AIs, like Copilot. I know someone mentioned that, and that's a good one as well. So you can just talk with AIs and see the better one. What's the better option for you? So this is the main question. Do I pay someone or do I do it on my own? Um, the organic growth um, works. It takes a little more time and it's a little more immersive, but it works. And when you share what you, yeah, when you share what's valuable and the differentiate factor, um, people will start noticing you, especially if you focus on growing your own community and stop like comparing yourself with other creators and other accounts. And no, when you are sure about what you're sharing and are actually um, taking advantage of all the resources out there, it is possible to grow organically. And even some people just grow organic and they just pay like one or two ads, depending on what they want to get. If they are just growing, looking for gaining followers, or maybe you create an event and you want to promote it, you pay an ad for that. But it's not like a whole campaign and a whole thing, very time consuming. And you can just pay one ad for the for the focus that you want to take in and your efforts, and that will help grow your community a lot. Now with a marketing agency, you are basically delegating all the thinking and all the strategizing to experts. So just keep in mind that there are marketing agencies that sometimes they just want to take advantage and just say, yeah, I'll create 12 um, posts for you and you pay me this money and I'll post them and that's it. And there's no strategy, there's no communication, there's no time for approval. just sort of ChatGPT, give me 10 content ideas for this brand, paste it on Canva, and that's it. There are marketing agencies that do that. So keep an eye out for that. And be involved. Even though when a marketing agency, um, when you're communicating with a marketing agency, they're the experts. Feel free to ask questions and to um, think twice about the offer, and share your opinion and share what you actually, as a client, want to see on our social media. At the end of the day, they are the ones that know how to grow that, but they should be able to take your idea and your story and boost that, not change like the whole story, let's say. So yeah, it's a higher cost, but it's something to consider if you want to streamline the process, and if you want to sort of um yeah just streamline and oversee the operation. So these are some examples. Chelsea, I think if you click like the names, you can actually go to the Instagram profile. The Modern Stone Age is actually an alumni. Um, so I added that just so you can see that. But yeah, we're seeing the same screen. But yeah, this is like in a specific description on what type of content do they do. So
Sorry, I
again,
gotta change my window.
yeah,
Oh no,
but
it's no, yeah, it's screen. I always get it
yeah,
back. Is it screen?
the screen, yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Entire screen. There we go. Okay, here we are.
Okay, so you see, very organic, very visually appealing, and they just tend to share like the DIYs and the come with me preparing something, and the hook is always an action, right? But you see, they take advantage of the beautiful pictures, the landscapes, the colors, everything's more bright, vibrant. There's like an educational post as well. So it all depends on what do you want to communicate, but this is a very good example. They are obviously paying ads or paid them at some point. Um, but because this is like a big operation, but yeah, it's like a inspo for your content.
Did you want to look at any others, Isa?
The Modern Stone Age is good. If you can click that one. So that this is a family-owned brand, so they always share. They always share like the staff and the family doing things, and the very beautiful pictures. But in this one, you are going to see more faces um rather
It's
than beautiful pictures. Yeah.
sorry, it's not clickable, so maybe it's not.
Oh, and if
I
you
know.
can click the Moon Valley to
Sure,
see if
yeah,
that's
that one's clickable.
okay. Yeah, this one is sort of the same thing. Beautiful landscapes, all of that. But they do a lot of share posts as well with other users. Um, a lot of faces, very organic posts, day-to-day things. Um, you can see they use professional photography, but also organic pictures from their phones. So okay, and these are like my final thoughts. So be consistent, not perfect. Practice makes perfect. Um, take advantage of all the resources. Here at Cake, we have a lot of business services that can help you not only with your social media, but with other areas that you might need support on. Um, and yeah, on social media regarding the content, see what's out there and how you can fit the current trends into your own niche. And yeah, always share your why, your journey, basically, your success story. Your, but also not like do share the struggles and the wins, not don't just focus on the good parts. Um, and yeah, focus on connection. This will rather than sharing 10 times a day what you are selling, you can add like a few more personal questions. Always ask questions to your customers.
Yeah.
That really makes a difference because not everyone these days is that nice. But yeah, that's it. We made it.
Great.
Nice. Thank you so much, Isabel, and thank you, Chelsea, too. We'll have a couple minutes left for questions. I just wanted to quickly point out I'm putting a link in the chat if you haven't seen it earlier. We just have a worksheet that we created specific for this webinar, so we'd love if you take a few minutes to complete it. It's just a couple questions, nothing too intimidating, but it'll help us understand where you're at and where we can possibly step in to help you achieve your goals. I will also repost the link for business services. And earlier in the chat, you'll see the links to our other webinars coming up in August. One about bookkeeping and understanding farm finances, and the other one about how to run an agribusiness, the key to success and profitability. So we would love to see you there as well. Yeah, I can share my email. Oh, nice. Chelsea's got the emails out. Yeah, if you have specific questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And so I'll turn it over to the group here. If anybody has some questions or anything that you'd like to discuss further, now's a perfect time to ask.
Yeah, we have a few minutes to.
Or if anybody wants to share, what their business ideas are, just to bounce around ideas, anything like that, we're here to listen.
Is it good to use social media to do like pop-up sales or like discounts when you have produce abundance of produce that you need to get rid of quickly? Is it social media a good thing to do that, use that for?
Okay, so Chelsea, do you want?
I mean, if you don't, I will
No,
just
go
quickly.
go.
When I used to work at I used to manage a farm store, and we would frequently have produce that needed to go, and flash sales like that did really really well on our Facebook page. And I've also seen people lately advertising product directly on Facebook Marketplace, which is interesting. And a thought. People like good deals, so if you have good deals for people.
Okay, here's a good question. So for TikTok, do you suggest just to post or to try to make money with the posts? So in order to make money, you need people. So grow your audience. That's a whole different strategy because I know you get paid if you go viral and with lives, you can also get paid for that. But if you don't have anyone seeing your posts, then there's no money coming in. So you can think definitely about going viral, but that's completely dependable on the content that you're sharing. But yeah, people and audiences on TikTok are a little more friendly and they grow faster.
I had a couple questions about Facebook. So it gives you the option of posting to your story or your feed or reels. So what are your thoughts on that? And the other thing is posting to your personal page versus your business page. It's like we have almost five, I think we're like maxed out on our personal page, like 5,000 people. So I get a lot more coverage doing that than our business page. I mean, our business page has a good following, but not near what our personal page is.
Okay, so with Facebook first, yeah, just I'll share that with Reels and Stories and feed, Reels and the feed, everything that you post on in your feed will always go to Reels as well if there are videos. If it's just photos, it will stay on your feed on Facebook. With videos, you can get away with just posting on Reels and they don't show up on the actual feed. So that's a little tricky. You can just post for Reels and not for your feed with videos specifically. Um, but you want to cover all areas. So I will personally say do videos on Reels, on Stories, and on your feed. Like do videos. Um, Try to stay away from the static images, like just one picture, because those tend to not get enough engagement visually. Um, so if you want to share something, do a carousel instead. So a set of pictures rather than just one post, because people tend to not pay attention to those unless it's like an ad. But even though I will still go for the carousel because people um, have an actual action to do, which is like the slide, and those perform better than just like the static image.
What is the purpose of the story?
Okay. The story is, think of like the informal way of communicating. So, and like fast promoting. Some people even do like um, giveaways, but like super fast giveaways on stories only. They don't post anything in their feed. So, and it's more like day-to-day things because it's easier to get to people if you're on their little circle here and they can just click and then ongoingly watch stories rather than scrolling and then they might see your post. And stories perform very good with younger audiences. Um, but yeah, it's like the immediate way of communicating something.
All right. Then the personal page versus the business page.
Mhm. So I've seen this before, and what people do is that they grow their personal page, and then they sort of change the or add like a promotional aspect there, and then that community will you can create content specifically to drive that community in your actual business page. But think of the personal page might be like what's making it grow. Is it that you're talking about yourself and taking like a more personal approach about your business, or what's something what's the difference between the two in your case?
I mean, they're pretty much one and the same, honestly. I mean, it's almost all about the alpacas.
Okay, then you can
And what
just keep.
I'll
Mhm.
usually share them back and forth. Um, but I didn't know, if there was a reason to do one versus the other.
Also, if you're also referring to the type of profile, because you can create a regular profile, a personal profile, a business profile. Um, I will stick to the creator profile because it will give you less um, struggles basically with if you're using music from like actual music or a copyright version of something. With the creator profile, you can get away with all of that. And with the actual trending audios, if you're business profile, sometimes it doesn't let you, like the own platform. But I will say for you, keep growing your personal, and then you can actually, it's good because you can actually share more of your personal one-on-one things, like with the farm and the alpacas and all of that. That's so much fun. Um, so you can focus on growing that personal very, very well, and then drive that community to the business profile if you want.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about telling your story. And, I've had this conversation with other people and had people comment about other alpaca breeders about how, they love watching our posts and, what a great following we have. And, then they went on to say that, they'd like to do that, but I think I'll just go ahead and hire somebody to do it. And, it's like, oh my God, I just about lost my mind. I'm like, you're totally missing it because nobody can tell your story but you, and people want to hear your story. And I mean, that's why we have the following that we do.
Hmm.
Um, and I can't really make myself post X number of stories, and it's, there, and I do it a lot, but I do it a lot because there's always interesting things
Hmm.
happening out there. And we do share the bad along with the good. But it really, it's that connection, it cements that connection that people have with you. So those were great points.
Yeah, yeah, you're totally right. And um, you have the cutest business.
Well, I've got,
You can,
I've got great content out there. I mean, I've got little
hmm.
baby alpacas running and playing. I mean, what more do you want? And I find that, when you do those type of posts versus when you're trying to promote the product in the store, and then you go and you look at your insights, and it's like, the alpacas are, through the
Hmm.
roof, and then the insights are, it's kind of discouraging. But, the clothing is is where the profit's at. So, I
Yeah,
mean, yes, we do sell alpacas, but I guess the trick would be how
you can
to,
merge that. Hmm.
how to do that, how to translate, how to get better results from the product posts
So,
versus the animal posts.
hmm. So, immediately when you said that, I was thinking of an alpaca maybe wearing a hat or some item from the store, and that will be the promotion itself.
Uh-huh.
And as I mentioned before, that would be like the hook, and maybe um 1 second or two of
Alpaca
the other.
alpaca models.
Mhm.
I have a couple that might, well, and
Might be willing to.
I may get spit on in the process, finding out who doesn't, that.
Yeah, so that could be the hook, them doing something funny, and then you sort of like do a slide in the promotion of the product.
It
But
might be
the catch might be the alpaca.
it might be worth more money with spit on it.
Hi, everybody. I have something to add to you. This is Chantal O'Neill. Good evening. This has been phenomenal. Up, down, left, right. My notepad is full. But just to piggyback on what you guys are talking about, using your personal page versus your business page. I offer consulting services, and what I've noticed in every industry is that people get close, like everyone said, to your why. But in order to draw them to your business, you have to reel them in through you being the expert in your field. So,
Mhm.
like you are, head over heels for the alpacas. Show the alpaca's personality through your personal page and the why you started loving and embracing alpacas and give people little wisdom nuggets in your story. But at the end, always give them a call to action to follow your business page to purchase some merch or to come visit or to adopt or love on. You need a cuddle today? Take this alpaca. And then that'll help boost your engagement, but also show that you are the subject expert in your field. And even for anyone starting out like in agriculture, like it sounds like the majority of us are, we can always share our passion and love of why we want to get back to connecting to the dirt, why we want to grow, what sparked that interest. And you're able to build up your expertise even if you're a novice. People love to see the story and the narrative of someone going from a novice to an expert. So don't be afraid to grow your personal page and take advantage of being verified because that does also help push you up in the algorithm. And the algorithm does reward you for being consistent, whether it's education, entertainment, or just because. So be encouraged. And like the slide said, post consistently and it will reward you.
Exactly. And there's actually a setting to post that when you are sharing a post, you can mention another account and it will share the post. So it will show on your personal feed and on your business feed. So that's one way of, like Chantal said, syncing the two with not only the content that you're sharing, but also sharing in both profiles at the same time. So one way of promoting would be, and I know we've delved into alpacas a lot, but in the personal page, I don't know, a catchy thing with an alpaca, and like Chantal said, the call to action will be at the end to go follow the business account if they want more one-on-one content about alpacas, or they want to know about the educational aspect and more like the logistics aspects, let's say, and your actual business and products. There's many ways you can sync to the two factors here. But yeah, this I didn't check the chat if anyone has any other questions.
Yeah, well, I think we're about to wrap up here. We're a little bit over time. We know we've kept everyone here for a little while, but we're so thankful that you were all able to join us. Please take a moment to fill out that worksheet whenever you have time. We can send you an email with the recording of this meeting, and we all put our emails in the chat if you have any more specific questions. We'd love to hear from you. Hopefully, we'll see you at our next upcoming webinar.
Yeah.
And we'll email out the PDF, Madison.
Yeah, we will include that in the email with the recording, and we'll also include the webinar worksheet too.
Are we able to share the presentation and recording, or do people need to be attached to CACI?
I mean, it'll be just a YouTube link, so you will be able to share it. But if you think it's someone that we could help, then feel free to send them our way.
We're all part of the same team. That's why I was asking. Yeah. Otherwise, but I'm encouraging them to join some of your future events. It was just too short of notice. We just spoke today. This is Dee. So too short of notice. Otherwise, this was phenomenal. Thank you again. And I'm glad we connected. And thank you, everybody, all the presenters. It was great information. Thank you.
Thanks, Dee.
Awesome. Yeah, just a final thing. If you're a Cake alumni, and you want to promote and share your story, we always share a newsletter. So we can totally give you a shout out and sync posts on social media. Depends on what you will prefer. But yeah, you can share your journey with us and your success story, and you will be basically granted that.
Does that mean send it to your email? Is that what we should do?
Yeah, you can contact us and we'll take a look at that.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. This was fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great evening.